Hey everybody, Chad here. This next episode of Law of Attraction Secrets, we're going to talk about the worst mistake we can make when manifesting our dreams, manifesting what we want, working with the Law of Attraction. What is the worst mistake we can make? But anyway, before we get started, hit subscribe down below, like this video. If you like this video, you can share the video. Other than that, let's get rocking and rolling. So, this might be a rough video. I'm in kind of a quirky mood right now. But anyway, what's the worst mistake we can make when dealing with working with the law of attraction, setting our intentions, believing it comes to pass, staying in the game until the end, not giving up? Makes sense? All this is in here. One of the reasons why we don't get what we want is part of it is we're just not persistent enough. We don't stay in the game long enough. We throw in the towel, we give up. And sometimes this is what I tell people. I tell myself this too, because I'm just as guilty. When you have an intense desire to give up and throw in the towel, it's because you're literally so close to achieving, getting what you want. So stay in your game. If this was easy, everybody would do it. That's what I gotta say. So, some parts are easy, some parts we want to struggle with, some parts we have to work with. So other than that, what's the worst mistake we can make when dealing with the law of attraction, when dealing with our dreams? Come on now, what's the worst mistake? What do you think it is? What do you think it is, baby? The worst mistake we can make. It's talking to other fucking people. That's what it is. It's asking fucking people for their advice. Excuse my language, okay? This isn't for kids, but it's really true. It's asking fucking people for their advice. Because this is what happens. You go to one person and ask them for their advice about something, it's an addiction. It becomes an addiction. Okay, now all of a sudden you go into another person. Now all of a sudden you go into another person. The next thing you know, you went to 20 of your friends asking them, what would you do? And it doesn't stop there, because now you have 20 different opinions in your head. It causes worry, anxiety, fear. You overthink, overanalyze. That's what's basically going on. Okay, and I watched this a while ago. I watched this video on intuition, and I don't know what the woman's name is. I can't remember. But she did say one thing that I liked. A lot of stuff she said I didn't like. Just because I think a lot of people talk about intuition. They talk too much, I don't know. They almost talk from like non-experience. But in my opinion. But one of the things she said that I liked was that the answers are always within us. Whatever we need to know, the answers is always within us. Whatever we want to do, the answers are always within us. Okay? That's our intuition. That's what we have to tell ourselves. The answers are within. Sometimes that intuition is that small little voice telling you to do something. We hear it, but we second guess it. We don't follow it. Okay? We hear it, we second guess it, and we think, okay, I gotta ask my friend what would they do, rather than just following it, rather than just being confident, making a decision yourself to follow it. Makes sense? And and I struggle with this too. I really have to be careful not to run around and ask people's opinion. It's really, once you start, it's like an addiction. Then like 4 days later, you're like, shit. Like, I'm asking people for their flipping advice, and when they don't know diddly shit, okay? And they don't know diddly shit about your situation. They don't know what the God is within you is telling you, your intuition, that small little voice, okay? That's giving you the best advice, okay? Other people don't know that. Other people is just gonna give you advice on what their life is, not what best thing for your life, okay? And that's one of the, I think that's one of the worst mistakes we can make, honestly, is just constantly going to people. You have to trust yourself, trust your inner guidance, trust your intuition. When you hear that small voice, trust it, have confidence, make a decision to follow it, and follow it. Okay, the answer is always within, okay? If you don't know, then ask. The person you should be asking, not other people, but asking yourself. Okay, lots of times, and I did a video on this, I had a really weird experience on this, and I'll tell you the experience because it kind of really relates to this, is rather than shooting you over to another video. I had a really weird experience, and it happened 2 days in a row. And because what I did was, when I was going, it happened a few days ago. The first time it happened, one of my goals I'm going after, I set my attention, I've been focused on it and everything else, what we talk about in videos. So the other night, I lay down and I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling worn out a little bit because I have been kind of worrying, getting anxiety, because I do have a habit of overthinking, overanalyzing. So, I asked, now this is how I ask, don't take offense to it, okay? This is just me, okay? You can ask in many different ways. I said, lots of times when I do affirmations, I said, thank you, Father, I say, Father. So I said, Father, please give me, a sign for me to stay in the game, for me not to give up on my so-and-so desire. And I went to sleep in that state, okay? What was weird about it, when I went to sleep in that state, I totally let it go. I totally let it go, didn't think about it anymore. When I woke up in the morning, it was just out of my mind for some reason. Totally let it go, didn't even remember. And around like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., something like that, I got that sign, meaning to stay in the game. Don't give up. Don't give up yet, Chad. Okay. And so even that night, of course, when we have that, sometimes we second guess ourselves. Sometimes we think like, well, was that really the sign? Or is that me just being cuckoo? Is that me just being cuckoo, Chad? You know what I mean? We all do this. We get the sign, but yet we scratch our head and we think, was that really the sign? So we start second guessing again. So the next night, okay, I go to bed. I was a little bit more specific right before I got really tired, right before I went to sleep. I asked Father. I was joking around too, and I was like, Father, I hate to do this, but can you give me a sign? But this time, 110%, I would know this is a sign for me not to give up. This is a sign for me not to give in. I stay in the game. 110%, I would know that this is a sign for me not to give up. Then I always end with gratitude. I said, thank you, Father, for giving me a sign not to give up. Thank you, Father. And again, okay, it's just weird. I don't know why. Again, I fell asleep. Lots of times I wake up through the night. I didn't think about it again. I totally let it go. Didn't think about it all night long. I said it, totally forgot about it. When I woke up in the morning, it was out of my mind. Totally forgot about it. I wasn't even thinking about it at all. Like, it's almost like you just totally let go of it. You totally trust that it's going to happen. And again, around the same times, I go upstairs for breakfast because I'm in Thailand. And I'm sitting there sipping my coffee. It's like 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., something like that. And I usually up there for at least an hour, and because I'm taking my time and stuff like that. And I got the sign again, but it was a different one. But this one was like way stronger. Like this one was just like boom, like in my face that this is it, 110%. This is it. Not to give up, not to throw in a towel. And that's an example of asking for guidance, asking for what should I do? You know what I mean? Almost asking for a sign. We all done this at some point in our life, but you kind of have to ask in the right way. We kind of have to let go. But this time I wasn't even worried. I totally let go of it. Both times, I don't know why, because my mind was focused on something. I think what it was is because my mind was focused on something else. So when I asked, I just totally forgot about it. Totally let it go because I started thinking about something else. But that was my one of my weird experiences with that. But that's an example of intuition. Following your inner guidance. You don't get that when you're constantly going around talking to people, because it just causes confusion. Then you get more confused. It's not even easier. You have inner chatter going on, and it gets harder and harder and harder to listen to your intuition, listen to your own inner guidance. So that's why I say, all the answers are within us. We just have to have confidence that all the answers are within. Okay, all the power is within us. We don't need other people's advice. Make sense? But other than that, my friends, I wanted to share that with you. And this is, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just practice. Staying in a game, and Neville Goddard says, you stay committed to the end. When you have a desire, you don't quit until you achieve it. Period. Because only when you achieve it, only when, that's the moment when you actually will honestly 110% believe that this works. But don't give up. You have to persist and consist. You have to be persistent, okay? That's kind of the rule here. If this was easy, everybody would do it. Okay, this isn't immediate gratification. This is immediate gratification, law of attraction. Okay, well, I thought about this in 24 hours, this happened. I mean, you hear that a lot, even the last decade, you constantly hear that bullshit. I mean, sometimes it's true, okay, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time to manifest. Sometimes it's something's testing you at the same time. Sometimes if you have a problem letting go, sometimes it won't happen until you just completely let go. And then it will happen, so lots of times you don't know. But you control what you want. That's your job. Your job is knowing what you want. You focus on what you want. You focus on the end. God's job, the universe job, is control the how. You don't control the how. That's job is for God. That's job is for the universe. Okay? But our job is to just stay focused on what we want. So keep that in mind. When your mind starts getting wild, have an affirmation. Say, my job is to stay focused on what I want. You repeat what you want. You stay focused on the end. You imagine the end result. The how, God's way is better than your way. God's way is better than my way. So, other than that, my friends, I'll see you in the next video.